Welcome back to another live with our Activism Blitz fundraising campaign for our Giving Tuesday. So we have our matching campaign where we are raising $50,000 as our activism team gets 50,000 views of our projects. These projects just don't happen just today. They happen all through the year across Canada, and we're excited to share with you more of the testimonies. In the last segment, we shared with you some on-the-ground testimonies from our teams in Calgary and in Toronto, and we have them back again. The Toronto team is just actually transitioning to a new location, but they have a testimony to share from the last one. So here we are. We have Carissa and we have Katura, and they are going to share another testimony with you.
Yeah, so we're just setting up here. And yeah, Katura has a testimony from the last choice chain that she wants to share with you guys.
So we were doing choice chain at the University of Toronto, and there was a young guy just came walking by really quickly. He didn't have much time to talk, but I asked him if he believed in human rights, and he said he did. So we talked like super briefly about human rights. He really had to go, and I was like, well, you know what? I just showed him my sign. I showed him the picture of a 20-week-old aborted fetus, and I asked, you know, this is what abortion does to a child. Is this okay? He took a minute to look at the pamphlet, and then he looked back up at the light. He was about to cross the street. He turned back quickly and just said, "You're right." And he took the pamphlet and went on his way.
It's amazing how quickly somebody's mind can change when they see the reality of abortion. So that's fantastic. We can see in the background there, we've got the team with their choice chain signs out there and all active. So fantastic to see. And thanks again for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Katura is one of our newest staff members. She is out in Toronto, and she is working with our outreach department out there, helping with some admin work and taking some of the load off of our outreach director out there. And so she is hard at work there. And we have another team member who is joining our staff, and this is Jeff Owen, and he was with our activism team. They just got in from the university choice chain here in Calgary. And so we didn't have a whole lot of time to share testimonies because everything was buzzing down there at that time. And so Jeff has joined me now to share one of the conversations he had. Hi, Jeff. Oh, for some reason, I can't hear him. I did hear him a moment ago, but something is off. Can't hear. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll see if we can get that mic sorted out. I'll let you know as well, we've got our projects happening in, we've got some events happening in Vancouver today as well, and in Winnipeg. There's a testimony coming from the Winnipeg team that I'm hoping comes over shortly. They weren't able to connect live, but we are going to read one of those testimonies coming up here as well. As I'm sure you all know, that in Canada, we have no law against abortion, so they are happening all through the year for any or no reason at all. And so that's why we are on the streets fighting abortion, is there's nearly 300 every day. I'm going to actually have Jeff join me right here in my office, and he will share a testimony here. Come on over. Should eliminate the problems there. Just use that mic.
Hello, everybody. So in the midst of racing back from campus, apparently something must have clogged my phone along the way. It must have been all the hostility we encountered. So I'm Jeff. We actually Day Activism Day in Calgary. So we were on campus, just back from campus at the university here. And I just wanted to share an experience that I had from earlier this morning. So we were actually downtown chatting with people, not only on their way to work, but also actually going for coffee between meetings downtown. And so I had the pleasure of speaking with someone. Really, we had a good team of activists today. And one of the things that we were able to accomplish as a team was, you know what, we'd have a first point of contact at the beginning of kind of the first person that they'd see. They'd go down a little bit further. They'd get kind of pushed on human rights a little bit more. And then by the time they got to the third person, if they hadn't taken a pamphlet already, they would take a pamphlet. So I outlined that because one of the people that I talked to initially, he actually walked down to, when I asked him if he thought abortion was a good or bad thing, he kept walking. I could tell he was starting to think about it. And then by the time he got to the second person in line, he actually took a pamphlet from her and then actually came back to me to share his experience. And so he said he actually was in a position where he was leaning in the pro-life direction, but he could see if the mother's health was at risk, he could see abortion being justifiable in that case. So we went down a road actually of trying to unpack what he meant by mother's health. So starting with even talking about something like morning sickness. And if someone was experiencing morning sickness during pregnancy, especially during a really difficult pregnancy, would it ever be okay to abort that child? And he disagreed. He said, no, that wouldn't be okay. And so we started to escalate the case a little bit to something much more serious. So we ended up having a discussion about ectopic pregnancy, the types of options that we currently have, and what we're really hoping to push going forward as we have the cultural transformation, so that maybe something like a transplant from the fallopian tubes to the uterus is actually feasible. So our conversation started to build on that common ground. And by the time we actually circled back, after talking about the different options that are available for something as difficult as an ectopic pregnancy, he was very much on the side of us, trying to encourage the value of life in all situations. So we touched on some of the other difficult cases. He said, again, this is a human life. It should be valued and cherished. And so we started talking about ways to actually really advocate for these preborn children going forward. So that was a really encouraging, lots of not only encouraging conversations today, but seeing people change their minds, have a different perception of pro-lifers and the type of work that we can do to really advocate compassionately for these preborn children. That was a pleasure to be a part of. So thank you for your patience, and I'm very happy to have shared that experience. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jeff, for that. Jeff is coming on staff here in Calgary. He's going to be our community outreach coordinator. So he's going to be working with community groups in the area, providing some training, being able to connect with people, finding out what resources that they need to be able to become more effective in their communities. And so we're excited to have him join our team, and excited that he could join the projects today in sharing the truth in the university campus. So thanks so much, Jeff. Just as a quick date here, we have a match. This whole event is a matching campaign of matching views with dollars. And we have a generous donor who has jumped in and offered to match the next $5,000 that comes in. So now is a fantastic time to donate, as we have that matching donor who stepped up. So please donate at endthekilling.ca/donate. Again, share these feeds with your friends and family. Invite them to join along as well, as we aim to reach that $50,000 goal today. I know there's a couple checks that are coming in the mail as well, and so I'm getting confirmation of those amounts. And so we're looking forward to reaching that goal and being able to reach even more people as we continue to do this on a regular basis. So thank you again so much for your support, and we'll tune again in the next hour with another update.